Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hi, I am Sylvia Hayes, and you are watching Good News at Primetime. This week is Juneteenth. Well, Sunday is Juneteenth. So we're going to have a lot of celebration of our Black history, Black culture. Okay? A lot of people are just finding out about Juneteenth. And now we got the white people who's getting involved in it. They want to profit off Juneteenth. So everybody want to get in on it, even though they tell us to stop thinking about it. That was the history, that was the past, stop dwelling on the past, forget about it. But yet still, when we get this holiday to celebrate our freedom, the freedom of the people in Texas, they want to cash in on it. So we're going to talk about Juneteenth a little bit, and we're going to talk about the history of Black people, and we're going to talk about the truth, the race, the truth. We got to tell the truth about what went on in our history and what's going on now. Okay, because it's needed. It really is. And a lot of things are being hidden and covered up, rewritten. They write the history the way they want it to make them look good, but we can't talk about our history. It's forbidden. So we want to talk about that today. Our history, to tell the truth. That's what we want to do. Tell the truth about our history, what's going on now, as well as what went on in the past. But we got the good news. Good news is my book, Power Thoughts. It is a very good book, a very good book. It enhances your life, and there's so much in there to make you feel good, make you think twice about it, and all of that good stuff. And one of the first things in my book is you control your destiny. You have the power to succeed. Let no one discourage you from reaching your mightiest dream. Let no one discourage you from reaching your mightiest dream, because you have the power to succeed. And that's one of the things that they've always been trying to do, discourage us from reaching our mightiest dream by not giving us the loans we need, or we can only buy a house in this certain area, or if you buy a gun, we're gonna shoot you down. I mean, it's a lot. We have goals and aspiration, but we're afraid to do it. So my thing is, do not let anybody discourage you from reaching your mightiest dream. And so to bring on my co-host, Reggie Drama, who's going to help us with this conversation on race, to tell the truth. Hi, Reggie. How are you doing today?
Doing great. What's up there, Miss Sylvia, and our audience over here? I'm excited. Anytime I get an opportunity to talk about one of my most favorite subjects, I think race, and I think melanated people have we always got to comment on that because we see it so often. You know what I'm saying? When we
Mm-hmm.
walk around the streets in America, it's pretty hard not to be alerted about race. And
Yeah.
so I'm excited, and definitely want everybody to like, share, subscribe over here to the Square Mile Media Atlanta, where we keep it going, keep it telling the truth, and I'm feeling good. But it's gonna be good. Think about it when I think about race and the whole reason the word race exists. You know, prior, I forgot what year the race was introduced into the global population. Uh, Before the colonizers, when people saw somebody, they pretty much just said, they described them. If they, dark or light, it was no concept like white and black. Okay, those things did not exist. White and black was created so that one group could maintain control and domination over another group for an extended period of time. And that's when race became a powerful tool. So, just to break it down, I think Dr. Francis Scott Westling, she breaks it down so we can understand the whole concept of the word itself.
Mm-hmm. The whole concept itself.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's the word that was created specifically. to control and dominate a group of people, to even establish a point of superior origin where, see, that did not exist, in wherever people were meeting and getting in touch with each other, crossing over, uh, race wasn't a power structure. It wasn't, only reason you were dominating another group of people was because you were stronger than them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But when you started to add race in there, race alone became the power to
Yeah. So this racism thing is really troubling me now because of the things that's going on. Like this kid, they refuse to let him march to graduate if he don't cut his dreads off. Now, what kind of stuff is that? He been to school all year long, and then they wait to graduation day to tell him you cut your dreads or you don't get your diploma, you don't march. That's cruel. That is so cruel.
that's for control, domination, and humiliation. Anytime a group of people can use their position and their standards to impose their will on other people based on what they think should be the things that you should be doing. Uh, uh, and that's what this whole racism thing is. Not because of anything else other than I want to control actions, efforts, dominate, have domination and dominion over a particular group of people. Yeah, that's
Mm-hmm.
what it is.
Yeah, it is because I know there are there are people who can't get jobs because of the way they wear their hair. It's like this is my culture. Why do I have to dress like you? So if you have straight hair, you know, you cool. But if you have this kinky curly hair, that's not good, and you're not professional. You know,
Well,
even though that's my culture, and I think I'm dressed cool and I look cute, but that's not the way you want me to look, and that's not right. You can't, you shouldn't force your views on someone else. You shouldn't force yourself to make me look like you because I am an individual, different culture, different everything. You know,
right.
so
Well,
I have a problem with that.
well, again, even it's got nothing to do with that because think about it. If I choose to wear braids or threads, uh, and I'm the controlling power structure, it's okay. If I'm doing it, if I give you approval, you look up and you see Becky and Karen with braids. Now it becomes a powerful thing, and everybody wants to do. See, now it's accepted by what we call the ruling class of the colonized group. Once they establish that I like it, okay, rap, I like it. Uh, a dashiki, Juneteenth, I like it. What can we do to make money and get and uh, long as we can approve it, it's okay. It's just when you do it because that's showing rebellion against us. At least in my mind, if I'm the dominating group of people, not based on population, just based on power.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know, but they do that. I know it was something else based on about the hair that I was thinking about. Oh, yeah, and another thing is they talk about us wearing dreads and stuff like that, but I'm seeing some
Right,
white people trying to wear dreads.
right.
You know, it's like you can't embrace your own culture, but we can embrace your culture. You know, what kind of stuff is that? They a lot of
Well,
times we're discriminated against because we're too dark, but yet and still you trying to get dark. You know,
well,
we have big
well,
hips and you trying to get big hips. Inject stuff in your
well,
mouth so you can have full lips like us, but yet and still we're ugly with those big lips. You know,
well,
so
again, look what it boils down to. See, it ain't personal against you. Uh, this is based on the concept of this particular race, which is in our case the white race, which white and black do not exist when it comes down to people, but they've identified a term, and you know that term means a particular power shift, a shift in power. Uh, if the our white counterpart say, you know what, it's good, it's okay. Becky's got dreads are good. Uh, 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 Linda's got thick lips. We like that now. She's got a big butt. That's good. But when you are doing it because they don't have any power over the natural effects of what we're doing, they say it's not okay. Because I want to control what you're doing. I want to control your actions, your efforts, and your behavior. And that's the whole concept.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. It is. And so let's talk about the shootings right now. Especially in all the schools, the communities where they want to kill off black people because they're taking over. Yeah, my thing is, okay, they're so concerned about having too many black people, in this country that they want to get rid of them. So, like they were the one who went to Africa and brought all of these black people over here. Okay. Then when they couldn't bring them over, then you choose a male stud to create more babies. And when that wasn't done, the master himself was creating more caramel babies. So they started the wheel. You go in there and make babies with her, and if you don't do it, they keep saying you go do it, you go do it, making these men have sex with these women to have these babies, and then the master himself is going with all the slaves in the community, so and they having more babies. They started that wheel of creating colored babies, caramel babies. They started that. And then later on down the years, they created family planning because they don't think black people should be having all these babies. Okay. So they have family planning so they can abort them, get rid of the black babies, get rid of the black babies. Now they're talking about no more abortions. Okay. You can't abort a baby. We don't want you aborting the baby, but yet at the same time, they trying to kill off all the black people because they are taking their jobs and they're going to be controlling them. It's like, make up your mind. Do you want us or do you not want us? That's the way I'm looking at it. You want to kill the babies, but then you don't want the babies to live. I mean, I mean, you want them to.
Well,
I don't know.
again, and it's hard to understand uh, these, well, we call it white insecurity simplex. It's hard to understand it. There are a lot of insecurities within that group of people. And one of the ways they're able to exert that power is to have a certain amount of control over you. Case in point, if I can tell you how long to have your hair, if I can tell you uh, what clothes to wear, uh, that's all about control. If I can control where you live, eat, sleep, and all that type of stuff, then I feel a little bit better about myself because even if I can't control those efforts within my own culture, I can control them around you. It's like the brother said, it's a fear of a black planet, really. Uh, and that's a big fear.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that America had, and this goes back to slavery and everything, even uh, during the part where they had indentured service. Believe it or not, there were what we call white people back in those days that thought the slaves had a better position than they had. And I think about this. These were white indentured servants that had nowhere to stay, no place, and the slaves were sleeping in barns with the horses. And they were still thinking to themselves, at least they got somewhere to sleep. We don't. So there's always been a concern about what other people have and what you think they should not have based on your skin color. Okay, so that's where racism comes in. Some of the most harsh people were people that thought that that particular group of people, black and brown people during that time period, shouldn't have basic things. Okay, even they wasn't getting paid, they were being forced, but they thought they were still having it better than they did. And anytime you have a group of people, and that goes out today, that's why you have people thinking that black, brown people are replacing them at the job. People are upset because they think uh, they could get a benefit that uh, you have. And for some reason, I think after Obama, I think a lot of our white Americans thought we was getting a big check, black people. So they really started to turn the hate up. They
Mm-hmm.
turned the hate up
Yeah,
because
because
they,
they thought we
you
were
know,
going to take over. Obama and
oh yeah,
offer, we going to take over. And the guns start popping off the shells, man. They going to kill people. I've never seen such absurd things. What do they think we're going to do? Do the same thing to them that they did to us? No,
yeah,
nobody.
yeah,
We want to live in peace. We want to have the fair opportunities to do what everybody else do. We don't. We're not trying to get revenge.
yeah.
Not trying to get. We just want you to leave us alone. Stop putting the fear in
Well,
us. Stop killing off our
well,
children and our men. You know, Stop treating us wrong. That's all we want.
well,
We want a fair
and,
opportunity. We ain't trying to get
I,
revenge, but they think
I
we are.
had a yeah, and that goes back to fear of a black planet. I had a fear of a black planet. I had a discussion with one of my white or Caucasian counterparts. We were talking about a white male can be walking down the street, any city, in any place in the United States, and nobody will attack him because of his skin color. Now, if he gets robbed or attacked, it ain't because he's white. Okay, somebody just robbed him. Now,
Yeah.
as a black or brown person here in America, if I walk into a neighborhood, somebody in that neighborhood feel obligated to take me out just cause. Now, we've seen a recent rise of parents calling people police. Oh, I just saw a black guy in my neighborhood, and he's cutting the grass. That's he just bought the property because
Uh-huh.
he feels threatened. That goes back in order to understand race and racism. We have to look at the content in which it was introduced. You know, when after slavery, America's biggest problem were black people. After slavery, America's biggest problem was black people. That's one of the reasons that Juneteenth exists because it was about 2 years before they even recognized the fact
Yep, the people
that
in Texas.
right, and those people were being shipped from Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, train loaded out to Texas to make sure that cotton machine ran well. You know, so it's always been a case of what to do with free black people. What they gonna do? They showed all types of things. They would in order to make people uh, feel less or imprison or enslave people, you have to make them feel less. Okay, and that's what racism does. It creates a system, and then when you get that system and you put stuff into it, like you said, they ignorant. They can't be taught. They're barbaric. They don't need to be citizens. They're only 3/5 of human beings because we can't let them vote. We got to control their actions and efforts. They're like big kids. And even with all that being said, black and brown people started to do well after slavery.
Hmm.
And
Yeah,
then,
they have, and they are afraid of black people and their opportunities to do well because like okay, when slavery was over, everybody's supposed to get what 40 acres and a mule. Who got it?
right,
If anybody, very few, right? But I bet you five
right,
dollars, all those white people they got money because they lost their labor. They were
Mm,
paid, but we weren't. You know, what kind of stuff is that? They get paid for giving up their slaves, but then the slaves don't even get their 40 acres and a mule. You know, and then
right,
they still tried to enslave them. And after that, they had this black code thing. If you get caught with no money in your pocket, you go to jail. Then that's free slavery again. Work for free
right,
because the coal miners, I mean the miners and all those other people, steel miners, they would rent them out, and you work for
mm.
free. So
Well,
slavery
well,
wasn't
cross.
all because and one more thing, when I did, because I'm a storyteller, so I did my piece on "Don't Take My Child." This was several
Mhm,
years ago, and when I finished, this man got up and he said that he went somewhere. I think it was in Mississippi, Alabama, or somewhere. It was back in the '60s, and they
mhm.
still had slaves. He said he couldn't
Okay, yeah,
believe it. He thought all of that was over, but they still had slaves because those
mm.
people didn't know slavery was over. And that's
Well,
bad right there. And this was an
well,
old man that got up and said that. He said he was just totally shocked to see it. And they still
well,
want to enslave you.
well. People, you had a couple ways to get free labor after slavery. Like I said earlier, uh, they had sent federal troops in Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, South Carolina to ensure that the black people, uh, you know, were free, unquote unquote. But
Mhm.
the southern states decided they were going to ship their slaves off to Texas, where they didn't even tell them. So they, you got to think about how the United States was built. Then take a long time to get a message out. But they was communicating enough. And you got to remember that Texas was one of the first states to secede from the Union. They just took themselves out of it and, made the southern states. I forgot what they called it. They had their own president, had their own flag, and all that type of stuff. And the byproduct of that is slaves. Okay, you had a population group of people that could maintain the workforce. And going back again to what we call Reconstruction, that 10 years after slavery, in the South, they allowed, believe it or not, black males were allowed to run for public office. But during that time period, uh, they did everything possible to rob them of their political power. Okay, they during that time period, uh, they don't even mention it that much. But that was a 10-year period where it was supposed to equal out, but they didn't want that to happen. So even though in South Carolina, that's why when you say that's the first black senator since Reconstruction. That's the first black this since Reconstruction because during Reconstruction they had that, but they took it all back. They took it back. They took it back, and they took it back because of fear. And fear has always been the driving factor behind racism.
Hmm. Yeah, it is. And yeah, while you were up there talking, I was thinking about my great grandmother. She hated white people. you know. But then I found out when I was doing my genealogy why, because she had a twin. Okay, um, they were living on the farm with Foxworth. So I found the twin, right? But later on, I could not find him. Going, where is she? What happened to her? And I found out she was in South Carolina. And what had happened is they took her. They were with the Foxworth. So there was a group. They were in Mississippi, the Marion County, Mississippi. The Foxworth down there were the same Foxworth that was in Marion County, South Carolina. So both Marions, they had South the Foxworth, and they took my aunt, well, she was my aunt, because it was my great grandmother's sister. They took her up there, so it separated the twins, and they never saw each other again. You know, and this was after
Wow.
slavery was
Wow.
over.
Right.
After slavery was over, they were separated. you know?
So
So, huh?
families were being separated, sharecroppers, up until the late 60s, 1960s. They still had
Hmm.
sharecroppers. They had people that were indentured to the land and worked the land, couldn't own nothing, and they stayed in debt. They stayed in debt. These black and brown people that stayed in debt because if they had a farm area, they always owed the farmer. He gets half their crop. He if they sold more than he allowed them to sell, he would get so much of that until they would still owe him next year, and they still got to stay on that land. So sharecropping was a form of slavery. You see a lot of these
Hmm.
movies where you see the black folk come to town and they got to get the cattle feed, uh, fertilizer from the general store. They would overcharge them. They were doing everything they could possibly do to make sure they could not succeed, but they did. And then
Yeah,
even when
and
they did succeed,
don't let them believe that one of the people got too much of their food, because then they're gonna try to kill them. There was so many black people hung.
uppity, you would consider
Yeah,
uppity,
they were
uppity.
hung. If they thought you stole an ear of corn, you can get hung. If you look at a white person in the eyes, you can get hung. If you went and testified in court, you can get hung. They were hanging. If you scared a white woman, you can get hung. And my thing is about that one, okay, they always talking about the purity of the white woman. The white man are always worried about the purity of the white woman. But what about the purity of the black woman? Now these white men go and rape these white black women and have all kinds of babies with them, but then let a black man look at a white woman. You got a problem there. you know, you got a problem. But it's okay for them to do that. The truth is, y'all ain't no good. that, that's the truth.
Once
It shouldn't
again,
be like that.
once
And even with money, if a black person don't have money in their pocket, they go to jail. But let a white person not have money in his pocket, what happened to
well,
them? Nothing.
yeah, well,
It's nothing.
one thing that we are finding out, the rules that are set up for our white male counterparts, even in the Constitution. You look at what just happened a couple years ago. Now, the insurrection up at the, in D.C. Now,
Hmm.
even with that, they still didn't. Now, if there had been some black and brown people, we would have went to jail. They would have immediately taken
Exactly.
weapons. They would have did everything they could possibly do. Look what they did to Black Panthers, and they just did uh, the building in California when they went up to California and they had rifles. They immediately passed a law to ban rifles in courtrooms and stuff like that. The city hall, just because they did. Anytime we do something, there's always going to be a backlash. Other people are guaranteed, and that's a part of racism. But you have to show, and you have to show people that you still have control over them. So again, the whole meaning behind racism is to elevate one group of race of people to dominate, control the well-being of another group of race of people.
Yeah. And the thing is with the Black Panther, being as the police weren't protecting the people, so the Panthers took arm to protect the people, to protect the community. But what do the white ones do? They take arm to shoot up people. That's basically it. You have a gun, yeah, yeah. I have a right to carry this gun. They carry open guns, and it's okay. But if a black person carry an open gun, look, kids getting shot for having a toy, killing them. Like a child is gonna be some kind of threat. But we
Well,
can't have
well,
those
again,
guns.
again, anytime the controlling group feel that uh, it's creeping into their world, they'll change the rule, they'll change the law. It's okay as long as it's okay with them. We are in a country where we must always have white approval. We got to have white approval. If It's okay if you wear that bandana if Peggy's doing it. Peggy, oh, it's beautiful, Peggy. Those dreads. Ah, that's so cute. I just like what you did with your lip, Peggy, Linda. But when you do it, they say, you know what? They need our approval. So racism is a way of maintaining white approval.
Yeah, and right now they are afraid that they are losing it. You know, they are afraid, and that's what all of this stuff is about. Them taking this replacement. No, who's worried about replacement? The only thing we're trying to do is get earn our place, and they don't want. They talk about black people being lazy. Okay, they're lazy and dumb and all that kind of stuff. But yet and still, when a black person have a business, this what started out of B. Wells and her crusade. Black people have a business, they're being successful, but white people don't like that. They burn them down and they kill them, because you can't be successful. No, we're the only ones. An inferiority complex. That's what it is. Black people cannot be successful, and this world is a lot of black people was the one that did this. We're the one who's making this world as successful as it is, and white people are taking credit. Look at Johnson and Johnson. One time wasn't it black, but who own it now? White people. You know, Ebony
You know,
Magazine. That's part of Johnson and Johnson, right?
no,
And
no, that's a different.
that's a
That's
different
Johnson
Johnson.
Publishing. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. But
Okay.
that you talking about Johnson, the medical people, Bayer Aspens, and all them people. But look. When you think about, you brought up an interesting thing. It's like Juneteenth. Okay, now Juneteenth becomes important when it's important to the ruling class. They say, you know what, we can make some money off of Juneteenth. I think Walmart had Juneteenth ice cream. They had a picture of Nat Turner and some mofo on the ice cream. Now, uh, I think who's the people, the lotion, the, the Vaseline people. I know black folks get asked, but they had African Vaseline. Now you can't make this up. These are things that I don't think they would do that in uh, reference to the Jewish people, to the Holocaust. You know what I'm saying? You don't see the Holocaust
Mm-hmm.
ice cream, a picture of Hitler on something. You don't see all that. But when it comes down to us, as black people, they have to make us feel bad about everything. They have to control the narrative. They say, if you're going to celebrate something, you're going to celebrate it the way we want you to celebrate it. That was one of the problems I did have about Juneteenth because I would rather us celebrate it without having to be told how to celebrate it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We don't need to know how to be told how to celebrate it. But when the other, and this was racism, they decide to dictate how you're going to celebrate. I remember going down to this in over 15, 20 years ago, Newnan, Georgia. That's the first time I heard about Juneteenth. I didn't know what it was. I never heard of it. And
Mm.
then as you start piecing stuff together, history and science and stuff, plus, you know, they had a history of a lot of lynching and killing. Now, Newnan, Georgia, Weeder County.
Mm. But that Vaseline thing, a Juneteenth Vaseline, to me, that's slightly insulting. That's saying you're ashy and we need to grease you up. I mean, that's the way I'm looking at it. That may not be their intent, but to me, that's an insult. You know,
Well,
to
well,
do Vaseline for Black Juneteenth, that's an
mhm,
insult to me.
well,
It really is.
again,
Why you got to capitalize on our heritage anyway, on our pain and suffering?
right.
Why you have to
Well,
capitalize on it?
again, to make them feel comfortable, they say, you know what? Uh, in order for us to feel comfortable, we're gonna recognize Juneteenth. We're gonna give y'all Aunt Mama butter. Think of it, you can't make this up either. Wells Fargo, they got Juneteenth, uh, debit cards.
Mm.
Okay, and Wells
Yeah.
Fargo had one of the most horrible records dealing with black people when it comes down to racist practices with mortgages, loans, and things of that nature. And guess what? They got a card. And I'm pretty sure other banks doing it too. But that just shows you these are subtle parts of racism that says we're gonna always control what we think you should be doing.
Yeah.
You know, what we
They don't
you
want to
know,
give
we're
people
gonna
money for mortgages
that
and for businesses, but yet
well,
still they
we'll
want
give you
to have
a
that
debit
card.
card. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And when you look at what they do on a regular basis to us, they say, you know what? Okay, we'll give you an Academy Award, but it won't be for nothing outstanding. Either we're gonna have a woman with like monster balls, she's gonna be getting sexually assaulted. You're gonna have a black male like Denzel killing up people in his neighborhood, a road cop. We decide who to make your hero. If you got a hero, we're gonna discredit them. All that's built in racism.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It is. And there's so much of it out there. And a lot of people don't realize how far back and what they're still doing. You know, because, and I'm thinking about, like, uh, the hotels. You know that what they have, the green book or the black book or something, where black people
Oh,
look
the
into
green
when they
book,
get ready to travel. What
the
was that? The
green book,
black book or the green book?
the green,
A red
the
book?
green book, the
Green
green book,
book.
the green book.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember it was a book. You look in
Yeah,
that book, and so you'll know which place to stop at. You know,
yeah,
and I think about that because they wouldn't let black people stay in these hotels and stuff. And I think about that coming up when we traveled. My mom used to put a shortening can in the car. So we had to use the bathroom. We had to use that can. And that's the way we travel. We didn't stop going to the bathroom at these restaurants or gas stations or anything. We used it right there in that can. Of course, we were little then too, but that's what she did. And probably because of that, you couldn't just stop anywhere. And right now, they got sundown cities. Did you know that? I done heard two people in this past week talk about sundown
yeah,
cities. You cannot go through those cities after the sun go down because your life could
right.
be in danger. And one guy was talking about
True.
how he was escorted through the town, at sundown because the sundown because his life would be in danger. And then I went to
Well,
Virginia and they were talking about sundown cities. It's like, whoa, you know and
and
that's
they
bad. Why
too.
do they do that? We
Yeah,
don't jeopardize people's lives. I mean, you can go to the community where all black is, black a
whoa,
white person move in that city, you fine.
yeah,
Okay, we say, okay, that's a white person over there, and that's good. No, you be your place and we be in ours. But let a black person move into a white community. No, you're gonna see on that nigga go home, or we don't want you here, or burn up the house, or something like that.
yeah.
That's
Well, again, those are just in order to control, dominate, or cause you to feel bad about something. Case in point, a white person can walk through any part of America unchecked, unchecked, unchecked. In Buffalo, with the shooting, the white male that killed the 10 people there, they had offered him food, talked to him, all that stuff. They welcomed him into the community. He killed 10 people. Remember the church in South Carolina? They prayed with him. They talked to him. Nobody said, man, it's white boy in here. We need to check him. No, our people have always been compassionate people. Okay, you can walk through any neighborhood any time of night. Like I said earlier, the only reason a white person gets jumped on, it wasn't because he was white. Nobody shot him or hung him because he was white. The only people that do this are racist people. They do it strictly because of your race. They need to put you in check. Many of the things that they did, uh, and this is why it's critical when you talk about race, critical race theory, to bring in remembrance, because people are saying, well, we don't want our children to feel guilty about anything. We don't want white kids to feel guilty about anything. So we can't tell them what Uncle so and so did, great Uncle Bob. We want them to be considered heroes. Because you got to explain to your kids why this behavior was accepted in your family. And that's one thing about the younger generation, because they're interacting with each other from different races, different groups, and different things. So it's hard to explain the racist uh, attributes of your grandfather. You know, why he did this. In these towns, they would lynch black people and bust load white people like it was a concert to see them get hung and burnt to the stake. Okay, we have never done anything like that. You know what I'm saying? If
Hmm.
somebody does get hurt, killed, or maimed in the black community, we don't showcase them like that. We don't hang them out so that everybody can see them. But these are things that uh, white people did in America, and they got to blame, have some degree of shame. Okay, when you sold the movie Birth of a Nation to in the White House in 1914, Woodrow Wilson, they showed that movie showing white fear. People were
Yeah.
afraid what black people were going
And,
to do once they got free.
and my thing is, we don't want our children to be ashamed of being white, but yet and still, all of these radical organizations are popping up and growing. And they still, if you don't want your child to be ashamed of being white, why don't you do something about it? That's the way I look at it. Do something positive rather than negative stuff. Why? It's like, okay, we're gonna go up and shoot up these black people, but I don't want you to be ashamed of being white. We're gonna discriminate, but you don't be ashamed of being white. We don't do this and that. We don't call them out of their names, all of that. The Negro, but of course it's not Negro, but but yet and still, we don't want our children to be ashamed of being white. They are
Right.
ashamed of
Well,
their history, and they change the history to make them look good,
look good.
and then portray us as the bad people, the uneducated people who don't have sense, who
Mm-hmm.
can't do anything, can't think for themselves, when they don't understand that we are the most intelligent beings on the world, in the world, on this earth. We had kings and queens, and you go over there and rip them out from their country and bring them over here for slavery. We're the ones who had the math and built the pyramids and did all these inventions, and you take it away from us. You get the credit, you get paid for it. No, you don't want to be ashamed. Do something on your own that's positive. Show your child something positive if you don't want them to be
Well,
embarrassed.
we have to ask ourselves. You know, a lot of times people say, "Well, man, you guys always talk about racism, slavery, things of that nature." Uh, but one of the things, and it's therapeutic for us, black and brown people. We put it out there, like I said earlier. It's hard to be a black person in America and not be able to talk about race.
Yeah,
You know, because you experience it. Now, for our white counterparts, what can they do? What can white people do to get rid of their racist tendencies? That takes a lot of help. That takes a lot of work. First, you got to admit, most times you see a white person and they say, "I'm not a racist. I got three white friends. I got three black friends, and a, and this and that." Well, just because you got three black don't mean you're not a racist. You got
exactly.
racist tendencies that you had dealt with. Your beliefs. We all have some type of prejudice and things like that. But
Hmm.
when you're a racist, you want to control the actions and efforts of somebody else. You don't, it's your way or the highway. Well, one of the things that white America has to do, and white America has to do, we can't do it. I can pray for them, I can talk to them, but before they can get over this problem that they have, guess what they got to do? They got to deal with this directly.
Yeah.
That's all.
And a lot of them, they don't see this white privilege thing. They don't see, we don't have white privilege, but then a black person can have a nice Escalade driving down the street. They get stopped. Where are you coming from? Where did you get this car from? Did you steal it? You know, why do they have to steal it when they could make money and earn the money to buy that car? Every black
Yeah.
person that ride in a nice car is not stealing. Every black person that live in a nice neighborhood, is not just scheming or something. You
Right.
can walk down a
Well,
nice neighborhood and live there, but they don't think
well,
you're
again,
capable of doing that.
yeah, this
That's
is
the
taught
thing,
behavior. This is
huh?
taught, and this is taught and learned behavior.
Yeah,
This is a problem that it has existed in America. America has dealt with this problem. America has not dealt with the problem of race. Now, when other people come to America, because sometimes people say, well, black folks are just like every time you talk about slavery. Well, we didn't do it, okay. Now, America has compensated everybody that they have done wrong. America says, okay, the Japanese, you know, you know, went put two big holes in Japan and killed about 300,000 y'all. So we got to give you some form of reparation. Germany, we destroyed and tore up a lot of stuff over there. So we got to go over there and help out. Even in the Civil War, the United States made a decision. One of the reasons we got so much backlash today because they allowed the South to put up statues, create rules, laws that impeded the forward movement of black and brown people. America did that. America could have nipped all this in the bud in 1868 when
yeah,
1865 when the war started. But when 1868 when Juneteenth happened, they could have said, you know what, we done messed up. Last week, 2 years we've been appeasing the South. If they had just said, you know what, we're not gonna let them put statues up, we're not gonna let them build Stone Mountain, Rock Mount Rushmore, we're not gonna let them put Jim Crow rules in effect, we're not gonna let them do all this stuff that if if the citizens that we call black and brown people have the same rights anybody in America, we're gonna nip it in the bud. They could have did that. America could have, but after Lincoln, you had so many racist presidents. I don't think there was one decent president after Lincoln. Lincoln really wasn't on our side. The only reason he did what he did, they would had a fear that England might come over and take over America. So
mm-hmm,
they said we just been fighting the most bloodiest war in history, in history, on this soil, because a lot of these people were killed just like over in Ukraine now. They fight each other. The Civil War is the worst war you probably have. So the brothers against brothers, sisters against sisters, all that type of stuff. But anyway, they put a pacifier in the mouth of the people in the South. They put a pacifier in their mouth. They allowed them to still act like they have won the war. That's why you have white Southerners to this day get upset. You say, take that statue down. Or you start telling them who that guy was. You know, what did he do? You know, you start doing anything that goes against what they've been taught. A lot of it is hate. And until they face that, America will always have a race problem.
yeah. And the thing is, too, it's not only just black people, the Indians, they did them so wrong,
Oh, yeah,
so wrong. Come over here and take their land. And you know what? With any other country, you go, you want their land, you pay for it, right? You
right.
pay so much money for their land. But
Well,
they came over
Europeans, they
here
pay each
and,
other.
and
They pay each other, but they won't pay nobody else. When you look at America itself, Louisiana purchase, they bought it from the French. You look at uh, the out in California, they bought stuff from either from the Spanish people, a whole lot of stuff. But when it comes down across this globe, they either take it or find a way to make you give it up without compensation. You know,
yeah.
but
So I don't know. about any money being transferred for the Indians. They wrote a
Oh, not a
treaty.
dime. Yeah,
They wrote a
paperwork.
treaty, to get land and stuff like that. But then a lot of the treaties they had, they broke that,
Yeah.
and they go over there.
Well, a treaty. Just say I came in your house. Okay, you got a 3 bedroom home, carport, garage, and I come in the door telling you, uh, I won't have, and I write you a treaty up on your house and tell you I'm gonna live in this room. Uh, I'm gonna drive your car, and guess what? At the end of the day, you need to be cooking. Well, y'all won't have a problem. You're gonna say, well, how can you come? How can you come in our home and tell us what to do
Yeah,
and give us a piece of paperwork for us to sign? Now, the indigenous people weren't stupid. Then after that, you know, we always share a story after Thanksgiving. Uh, they had eaten, the pilgrims were starving. They didn't have nothing to eat. They were told, basically, it was white trash. Okay. And
yeah,
once they ate and fellowship with the indigenous people, they came the next day to try to kill them. They just couldn't say, well, you know what? Thank you, God, for the food we received and this and that. They wanted to come get the food, they wanted the land, and they wanted the women. They came and did a massacre within a week after even Thanksgiving done, because because they could not digest the fact that these people were nice to them. Okay,
yeah.
see,
And if
they
it
were
wasn't for them, they
barbaric.
wouldn't be surviving because the Indians
They
helped
would have
them
been dead.
plant food and
They
to
would have
survive.
Oh yeah, they would have been dead. Barbaric people. But across the globe, barbaric people do barbaric things. I mean, they have to justify those things. And that's where race comes in. They say, well, those folks are less human. We are at the top of the food chain. We're the superior race. And the superior race can do whatever they want to do. And then you got to come up with reasons to do to people like you're doing. So they ignorant. They just ignorant. They're horrible. They barbaric, not ignorant. They ignorant. They barbaric. They savage. You call them all kind of things, and you do this on any banner, whether it's a religious banner, you send a church in. The church said we got to get rid of these heathens. They're heathens, and you kill them off. You do anything you can to make them feel less and control their actions and efforts. That's what
But you,
racism is.
I don't see anybody more barbaric than they are.
Oh
They
yeah,
have a community gathering and they pick a black person to hang for entertainment. That's where pick a nigger come picnic came from. Pick a
they
nigger.
was
They
busting
gonna
them
pick a
in.
nigger
They
to
was busting them
chew
in
them
like a
up and do
concert.
all this other stuff for
Oh
entertainment.
yeah,
And then they cut out the fingers and save it for a souvenir, take pictures of it and all that kind of stuff for a
yeah.
souvenir, burn the bodies.
Postcard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I know one lady, they they hung her. It wasn't for entertainment, but they hung her because she wanted to press charges against somebody. They hung her
Mm-hmm.
upside down, drenched gas all over her body, and set her on fire. Once she finished burning, then somebody got a knife, split her stomach open, and dropped that baby to the ground. And then somebody
Mm-hmm.
decided that that baby shouldn't live, and they stomped that baby to death. And this woman's still alive, hanging upside down in pain. Watch
Mm.
her baby being hung. That is horrible. And then after they did that, and then everybody else took their gun and just shot her up, just shoot and shoot and shoot, shot her up. You
Well,
know, that's
again,
barbaric.
uh, yeah,
When I went to
America.
Jamaica, one
Mm-hmm.
of the guys were telling me that they would make a bet whether the woman was carrying a boy, or girl, and then they would split the woman's stomach open to see what it is.
Mm, yeah.
That's
Well,
barbaric.
uh, again, until across the globe, people deal with their racist acts. Uh, like I said, prior to a particular year, race didn't exist. Race did not start to have meaning on the planet until they made it a way to imprison, torture based on race. Everybody had caste systems, based on wealth, your belongings, and things like that. How much you accomplish. But race became the most powerful tool. that the Europeans were able to use to inflict harm on everybody on this planet. Colonizing Congo, one of the most ruthless guys, a guy out of Belgium, killed more folks than Hitler ever thought about killing. He killed more folks than Hitler ever thought about killing. Out of Belgium, he's the most ruthless guy on the planet. You'll never hear his name. They just took a statue down that he had in the Congo. He killed more people in the Congo than Hitler ever touched. But they don't bring that up because that makes him look bad. Uh, and you know, again, in order for us to deal with racism, like I say, any black person you get talk to you about racism. Okay, now
Mm-hmm.
white America has got to deal with it. Your kids, your grandkids are going to ask you these questions about great great granddaddy, great great grandma, all them, and your family tree has crossed paths, you know. So we're going to have the conversation. I think there's hope as long as white people are prepared to look at themselves in the mirror.
They're not, because they're so busy being greedy. They want to be
Well, not
greedy,
all of
and they want to be head honcho. They want to be in control of stuff. I mean, that's
them. Hmm.
like, look at Africa. They keep saying, "Why don't you go back to Africa? Go back to Africa." But guess what? Africa have a lot of silver and diamonds and no jewels and stuff.
Oh, we
When white
can't
people
get over
found
there
out
because
about
they
it,
going to take over everything. You
yeah, they
know,
went
They-
over
we-
there and took over. That's
yeah.
what apartheid was about. Them coming over there
Hmm.
to take their stuff. You know, this
Yeah.
is African stuff, and they go over there
Yeah.
and take their jewels. That's what
Well,
apartheid was all about.
we
A
talk about it.
predominantly
Oh,
black country ruled by white people.
hmm.
You know,
Well,
so it's enough
again,
of them to take over and get them out, but we are the more
well,
subtle people.
oh
You
yeah,
know,
uh,
we're
we
not
comprise more
thinking like
people.
that.
It's less of them than it is us. They have used the power of racism to impede their will on the planet for the last 2,000 years. Okay, ever since they introduced that word, and because every other battle was not you wanted something. Yeah, people been fight, man have been fighting for years, but it was never about color of a person. So uh, mostly Europeans and barbaric people came out of the caves and went after the people that helped them. We are the
Mhm.
people that brought them, showed them light, built stuff for them, and for some reason they're always drawn to either the reason they like so much stuff that we do, like you say, the lips, the hair, all this stuff, because if you ain't got no melanin, you will always be in search for it. See, we don't have to look for it. We got it.
Yep. Yeah, we do. So this looks like it's going to conclude our time. And I just want to say it loud. I'm black and I'm proud.
Dun, 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 dun. Say it loud.
Yeah,
Yeah. Black
yeah,
power. But, again, black power does not mean from a racist standpoint that we want to take over the world. We prideful people. We're not trying to go out there and kill a bunch of folks, annihilate white people. Oh no. We love our white brothers and sisters,
yeah. And I can't
but they
I
got to deal with
can't hate
that
them
problem.
anyway. I can't hate them anyway because my great great grandfather was
They
white.
come from us. They
Yeah.
come from us. How can you hate your children? They just bad children. They have gone astray. And once they
Hmm.
uh figure this thing out, it's gonna take some help. And guess what? We can help them, but they gotta want help. They gotta
Yeah.
want help. They have to
Yeah.
want it. They need it, and they have to want help to get over
And
this thing
they
called
got to
racism.
show love because you know what? Now, one of the 10 Commandments with the white man wrote, "Thou shalt not kill." You know, love your neighbors like you love yourself. Do unto others
Mhm.
as you would have them to do unto you.
That
Yeah.
yeah.
You- So you gotta, they gotta think about
Hey,
this Bible that they wrote.
none
You
of
know,
these books mean anything. The Quran, the Bible, Constitution, as long as they got that hated in them, that racist hate. Guess what? They'll never, they will never overcome their inferior are consequences. So they got to
Mhm.
talk to us. They got to redeem themselves. You need redemption. They got to repent. They got to turn back from their evil ways. Until they do that, it is what it is.
Yep. Yep. And so this critical race theory, they don't
Uh,
want that taught because they don't want the real truth to come out.
oh no, oh
That's
no.
the sad thing.
Hurts their feelings. Hurts their feelings. Got to repent.
Mm-hmm.
Got to repent. Oh yeah, they need it.
Got to. And we ain't gonna point the gun at you
Oh
and say
no,
repent.
yeah.
No, no.
We
We
the
gonna
elders.
just look at you and
Uh,
pray for you, cause you know we're
yeah.
good at forgiving and praying for people.
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
yeah. They
we
know.
we're good for that. You know, just want to live in peace and just want them to repent their hearts and and do the right thing. That's all we
Oh
want.
yeah.
Do the right
It's hope
thing.
for them. It's hope for them. They can be redeemed if they want to.
Yeah, yeah. If they want to, and you can't be arrogant about it because I remember I heard this white guy say that black people are jealous of white people because they have generational wealth. And I'm thinking, duh, how you got it off black people back. We were the one who
Okay.
created that generational wealth for you. And we're gonna be jealous of it. If you stop burning down our businesses, maybe we'll have some generational wealth. If you stop putting us on the low part of the payroll, we work more than some people and get paid less, maybe we can get that generational wealth. Maybe we can get that promotion that we've been so deservingly, and then you neglect us. We deserve this
Right.
payroll, I mean, this promotion, and you won't give it to us. We deserve more money. You won't give it to us. We deserve a job. They give a white person who don't have know anything a job quicker than they will those black smart people. I've seen that happen. I've been on my job and I've asked them over and over to get cross trained so I can fill in for this person if she's out. I just asked to be cross trained. They never would. Here I am, a supervisor, but they would not cross train me for that job. But then this white lady come in from Waffle House who didn't know nothing. They give her the job. I was pissed. You know,
Okay. Okay.
I was
Mm.
pissed. You know, just walking it up the street and just give her the job. I'm just
Wow.
all I asked was to be cross trained. They do that kind of stuff. They do it. They don't even want you to. I mean, when school integrated, a lot of black people fail. Not because they wanted to fail, just because that's what you wanted them to do. They put that failing grade on there, whether they were smart
They
or
got a
not. They didn't want them to
they
be
got a lot of
promoted.
repentance. They can
Yep,
change from their evil ways.
yep, they do. Got to repent. Okay, so Sunday is Father's Day.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I hope somebody get more than just a necktie, because that's what a lot of
Yeah.
fathers do,
Yeah.
get neckties. So make Father's Day a nice day for the fathers, people. When you're out there, make Father's Day a nice day. Some of them do deserve to be honored. I ain't gonna say all of them, but some of them do
Right.
deserve to be honored. And always give respect. So and I enjoyed my Children's Day with my grandbabies. They said I was the me and my husband. They said that we were the best grandparent ever. so so we went to see them and did a good thing. So Father's Day is coming up Sunday. Everybody be happy, do the right thing. So you have anything else you want to say before we sign out of here?
All right. Well, take care. We love you all. We'll be doing a special Father's Day show on Father's Day, and to all the people out there, show some more love, and we can end racism, but it starts with the individual. And you got to look at uh, your insecurities. When you can face your fears, you can overcome anything. When you can face your fears, you can overcome anything. Fear of a black planet exists in this mind. You can get over that. Guess what? We can resolve racism, and you don't have to be telling people, well, I got two black kids.
Yeah, and this thing it's not a follow the leader thing, because sometimes if you have a friend who's racist and you want to be their friend, you don't have to do that and do what they do. It's okay to step away and say, I'm not going to treat them wrong. I love this
Right,
person. I'm not going to do that. So it's okay to step away. You don't have to be like everybody else. Okay? Step out and be on your own. And just remember, love conquers all. Love conquers all, and you feel better. You feel better when you love somebody than you do when you're hating somebody. That always
correct.
make you feel better. So always love, always treat people right, and do your best to be good. And so until then, I'm gonna say goodbye and see you next week.